that's the lesson that you take from this. Don't ever, ever, ever give up on someone.
When it comes down to it, it's a very difficult sport.
I enjoy the people that are here.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Welcome to Community Closeup. I'm Joe Nelson. Today we find out what it takes to command attention with bright colors, fire, and creativity. We meet a group of Coon Rapids students aiming high to crush clay pigeons. And we head to a bilingual Coon Rapids church whose congregation spreads throughout the metro, offering variety, schooling, and service. But first, a local hospice care team is allowing patients to die with dignity while providing medical services, emotional support, and spiritual resources for people who are in the last stages of life. The hospice care team at Mary T. here in Coon Rapids strives to make terminal patients comfortable and at peace as they live out their final days. Community Closeup's Jordan Rylance has more on how this hospice care team focuses on living.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
Pauline McCall is 83 and has dementia. Each week, hospice nurse Becky Christensen checks Pauline's vitals and manages her pain. But more importantly, she sits with her, sings with her, and talks with her.
You look nice. I like that color on you.
Mary T's hospice team is made up of 6 women who all aim to provide the best possible care for those entering the last stage of life.
Hospice care provides like a partnership with these families. They're not walking alone anymore.
The Mary T hospice team was created in 2009. Hospice is just as important for family members as it is for the patients, giving them much needed breaks and providing support for family and other loved ones. Hospice allows patients to die with dignity, surrounded by those who care about them most.
I just kind of really feel blessed to be like on the threshold with people, like they've one foot in this world, 1 foot in the next world. And to be there with them at that time is just, I don't know why it moves me so much.
The moments before a patient passes have special meanings for each member of the hospice team.
The aide and I were turning this person, and all of a sudden he took his last breath. And to me, that's just total peacefulness, relief, calmness. I just feel very peaceful and relaxed during that time because they struggle for so long.
And I paid a whole dime for this one. Isn't it cute?
Ruth Porter is turning 97 this month.
Do you have a favorite meal? Something you like to eat?
Food.
Congestive heart failure sent Ruth into hospice care almost a year ago.
My heart was giving me problems.
Okay.
I couldn't breathe. I'd go in and I'd go.
Ruth benefits from the massage and music therapy hospice care offers.
One sings, and she's got a beautiful voice. And the other one just rubs me, and that feels so good.
We really focus on meeting the clients where they are. So I may provide massage to them while they're lying in a hospital bed. Sometimes maybe they're in their favorite recliner or at a table. Really giving them what I feel they need.
But Ruth's favorite part of her hospice care visits is the time spent with who she calls the girls.
I'm always glad to see them.
Yeah.
The girls.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so.
The most satisfying part about working in hospice for me is to know that I can use music to facilitate something that will increase a patient's quality of life.
Ruth is on medication and requires a daily nebulizer and oxygen. Her heart may be failing her, but her faith is unwavering.
You're a religious person, so you believe that there's something better, right?
There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when asked if there is anything else she wants to accomplish in life, her answer is both refreshing and bittersweet.
Just die.
Do you feel ready?
She's ready. Yeah, I'm ready.
You feel ready?
I'm ready.
You're not scared of it?
No.
You're not?
I'm wondering how it will be, but I'm not scared to die.
For patients like Ruth, hospice care offers companionship.
They're so good to me, and no matter what I want, they're so good to me.
Hospice care workers focus on more than just the patient. They are also tasked with earning the trust of the patient's family members.
It's so huge and it's so key in this job because you never know how long you have. We've had patients that have died the day after we admit them. We have patients who we've had for over 6 months, and you really never know how much time you're going to have. So it's so important to get that relationship with the patient, with the family, as soon as you can, so that they trust you. They trust you to take care of their loved one.
Trust and time are among the things most valued by hospice care workers and patients, as each day is a gift.
As people enter the last chapter of their life, every day is important. And we help provide support so that there's quality to each day.
For Community Closeup, I'm Jordan Rylance.
The Mary T. Hospice Care team is there during the bereavement process up to 13 months after the patient dies. To learn more about hospice services at Mary T., you can call 763-772-9963 or email hospice@marytinc.com. Still to come, how one Coon Rapids company is keeping a tradition alive at 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Stay with us. A dying art is holding on in Coon Rapids, offering companies and customers a spectacle no machine can duplicate. We find out how neon signs are made and where they've caught millions of eyes each summer.
If you talk to any of the concessionaires, and if you were to ask them which fair if you had one fair to work across the United States, which would that be? And that would be the Minnesota State Fair.
At the end of every summer, big crowds bring big business at the Great Minnesota Get-Together. Hungry fairgoers searching for a standby snack, sand stick, make cheese curds a hot item with stands spread throughout the grounds.
We call it friendly competition.
To bring in customers to his stand, Mouthtrap Cheese Curds owner David Cavallero knew he had to get noticed.
In our business, the motto "flash is cash" is standard, and I wanted something that kind of reflected that. I've always liked neon. I thought that was the way to go.
To get that look, he looked to DeMar's Signs in Coon Rapids, where neon glassbender Keith Fesler has been cooking up signs for nearly 25 years.
We do every kind of sign you can think of, from little door decals to big pylon signs. Pretty much anything you can think of we do, including neon, which is rare.
It's an intricate process that starts with a design and 4-foot sticks of glass tubing. After marking where to bend them, Keith heats them up.
Crossfire is more exact heat. This one, it can adjust for longer heats. Say, so for this next heat I'm gonna do, I can just adjust it to however I want it. It's starting to get a little pliable. And once I can feel it's ready to bend, I'll take it out and then, whoops, blow a little bit of air in it.
Blowing air leaves room for the gas to go inside the tubes.
There's two different gases. There's argon and there's neon. Argon is a bluish gas, kind of like that right there. That's clear, so that's the actual color of the gas. Neon is red.
Other coloring is done through stained glass, painting glass, or by adding phosphor powder inside. He welds his work to tubulation glass hooked up to an air hose and a transformer and adds heat, pressure, and electricity through the glass tube. He keeps that pressure down through a vacuum.
Right now I'm vacuuming out what I just pumped. So then when I get it back down, I'll put a little bit of air back in it so I can get it to strike again. And then now I'm just continue heating it till it reaches about 600 degrees or so. So now I'll fill it. I'll close my vacuum. I'll put enough neon in it. Here's a gauge that I'd go by. Say it's 15 millimeter, so I'd fill it to 10 on my fill gauge. And I'll light it. And then I'll seal it off.
Then he lets it burn in longer to brighten and even out the coloring before completing the light by putting each piece together. Keith says he quickly learned the hazards of working with fire.
When I first started, I guess I would get burns a lot, say like on my arms and stuff, just from, if you're working so fast, you know, it's hard to remember sometimes to stay away from the hot parts.
And when his shift is over, signs remain in sight.
We always kid with everybody else that works here. It's like once you get in the sign business, that's all you notice. Like you're driving around and you're constantly looking at signs.
Keith learned how to make neon signs about 25 years ago from a Minneapolis shop owner who got her start at DeMars.
O's are the hardest for me. I've gotten a lot better at it, but that's the one thing that probably still gives me problems is doing a perfect O. It's just a lot of practice. It's just repetition and it's just getting the feel for the glass.
Keith says he, DeMars Signs, and the entire industry are seeing neon dim over time.
Most of the work I did was putting neon inside of channel letters, you know, with the faces on them, and that's all gone to LEDs now.
But his work, along with designs and installation from the DeMars team, isn't going unnoticed.
I can only imagine it can't be easy bending the neon. And they are tremendous craftsmen. At the shop we couldn't quite see it because it was in pieces, but I liked what I saw so far, and it wasn't lit up there, you know, until we brought it out here, and then they installed it, and they had the almost, I think it was kind of like cranes to put it up there, and did a masterful job in securing it. And I think they had it up in 3-4 hours, but once it was lit up, it looked great.
I like that a lot. You know, when you do something that you like and they like, yeah, you know, it makes you feel good, sure.
Cavallero says his sign ensures more than 55,000 pounds of cheese won't stay at his stand for long.
It's an advantage because as they're walking by, you can see it from the outside of the building. I mean, all you got to do is, you know, take a glance through one of these big open doors. That big, beautiful sign catches them. They'll come in and they'll say, oh, we saw the sign from the outside, or we were walking around and we were kind of looking for you. Didn't take us long to find you, so the nostalgia look of neon is what I'm trying to go after, and it seems to work for me.
To see the neon work or to try those cheese curds, head to the food building during the state fair that runs from August 25th through Labor Day. To get a neon sign made by Keith, call or visit DeMars Signs on 93rd Avenue in Coon Rapids. Up next, we take you to a Coon Rapids church that holds services in 2 different languages but shares a common message of faith. Stay with us.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
In the past year, a congregation in Coon Rapids has found a new home that connects them with their past, present, and future in faith. When many churches are struggling to fill their pews, we found out why the Hmong Alliance Church has grown.
School district office that sold this building to us, and then we will use the building for the Lord and to serve the community.
The Hmong Alliance Church took a long journey to Hanson Boulevard, starting in South Minneapolis, then Minnetonka, returning to South Minneapolis, then to Coon Rapids on Eilach Street before finding a home here last May.
My parents started coming here before I was born, so I kind of grew up in the church here.
The move into a bigger building came with concerns.
How can we finance, pay for the mortgage? But since we've been here and every month, people increase for membership, and our budget is continue to increase too. So that is the blessing of God.
This is a great area for the church as the church is growing, and certainly this building better meets the needs of the members of the church.
Christianity was introduced to the Hmong after a missionary, Ted Andrianoff, made a trip to Laos in the late 1940s, converting many to the religion. Today, about 27,000 Hmong are Christians, making up about 10% of all Hmong people, according to the Christian Missionary Alliance.
So when people came here, and that's what they were familiar with, and so they went with Christian and Missionary Alliance. There are other denominations like the Baptist, Lutheran, Methodist that Hmong people do attend.
Yeah, the message will not change, but we change like a worship, like a orderly, you know, on time and end on time, and then welcome people and facility, you know, be quite different from back in Laos. Yeah.
Part of the Hmong Alliance Church's mission is to spread their message to as many people as possible.
That's the ultimate goal, is to bring people in and teach them the good news so that they can go out into the world and be disciple makers.
Perhaps you are like that too.
Pastor Chow Tao seeks the ears of those listening for guidance.
I would say that God loves them and God wants them to have peace in their life, and if they come to Him, they will get that peace.
As a pastor, I want the congregation to learn the God's words, and this is the way we go to heaven. So we try to the best to bring the people to Christ.
As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a kid, right? So, you know, being a part of a church community like ours is a good thing for the kids, and also teaching them, you know, Christ-centered morals, Christian morals, virtues, at a very early age is critical for them.
Lu Yang coordinates men's ministry at the church, offering them activities and events like camping and picnics.
You have to be responsible for your family, you know. So that's our theme this year.
Education is a theme that runs through the entire congregation, with Sunday school offered for children, youth, and adults.
They also use it in a way to connect to their age group, finding yourself during high school, finding what you want to do after high school, and growing as little kids together. I love the atmosphere, is how we've all grown together, so it's kind of like a family-based kind of thing.
Each Sunday at 9:30, the church opens with a traditional Hmong service. But new traditions are taking form in the English-speaking service each Sunday at 11.
We are therefore Christ's ambassadors.
Here we kind of contemporary style worship.
Members of the Hmong Alliance congregation come together for more than just the Sabbath.
We do have nightly prayers here, women and women, so it's every day of the week. Wednesday nights we have prayer meetings here, and then I think what we are doing with the community is the ministries in the church here are doing volunteer work at feeding my starving children.
The atmosphere was friendly and was welcoming, so that drew us in. And as we worship with this church and regularly attend services and get to know more of the people, we felt even more welcome and grew closer to many people here. And our kids were welcomed as well, and they just immediately connected with the other kids of this church. And at the same time, we make connections with other adults as well. So the Christ-centered message is always there, and that is an added benefits of being attending here.
If there's anything that we can help, that give us a call, and if we can help, then we are willing to help.
Hoping to bring in Christians of any background and even non-believers, the Hmong Alliance Church finds a balance between maintaining cultural identity and opening up for a broader appeal.
The gospel said we are not only target for the one group people, but to all the nations.
It's obviously an all Hmong-based church, and we do invite any other race, but because it does remind me a lot of the culture, and it carries through here too.
We want to be a place where it's not only Hmong people that comes, but people that are looking to hear the good news can come.
It's not a Hmong language or the English language. I think it's universal to speak the language of love, and we hope that that message and that language is what's going to be spoken and heard here.
You know, I think we're less traditional Hmong families than some may have it. Although it is good to have a Hmong-centered church, that's not the main priority for me. For my children, I'd like them to know some aspects of Hmong culture, but that is not important, because when we are Christians, it's not about our culture anymore. It's about Jesus and what he did for us. So I think a lot of families here like the close-knit ties of the Hmong community itself, especially when you're part of a church community. You'll probably see a lot of extended families here. So because Hmong people like to do things with their extended family, and so whether they live a few towns down the road or around the corner, if they have family members here, then they're more likely to come here. And I think that's the biggest draw to those population. That
we are really open to everybody, and we invite everybody to come and worship with us. We also invite the Hmong community here as well to come and just see what's happening here at Coon Rapids Hmong Alliance Church.
Jesus teaches us to go to the ends of the world, preaching the good news.
Hopefully the community is not going to be just a homogeneous community. We're hoping that everyone and anyone from any different backgrounds, racial, ethnic backgrounds, whatever it may be, we are completely open to them. And I believe that just adds so much more richness and love into our lives too. So we hope that other people will come.
I think the only difference would be the environment that they get here, the people that they meet would be I would say a different culture. A culture that's Hmong mixed with American culture, so it's a little bit different.
This is a church that is focused on disciple making, whether that is our children, ourselves, or new believers. And we are here. We're here not as a Hmong church, although it says so in our name. We're open to anybody who is interested in attending. We especially are interested in non-believers who would be seeking out God or seeking to understand what Christianity is. We are a family here that is to support seekers as well as existing believers, and it doesn't matter what racial background you're from, what denomination you may be coming from, you're welcomed here.
Each Sunday, the church holds services in Hmong at 9:30 and in English at 11, with a combined service on the first Sunday of each month at 10:45. Coming up, we hit the range and meet kids pulling for perfection. Stay with us.
Mom, can I have $1? Yeah, it's right. I think my purse is upstairs on the bed. It's not here. Check the dining room. No. What about your sister's room? It's not there either. The upstairs closet? The downstairs closet? There are no more closets.
Moms everywhere are finding ways to keep kids active and healthy. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov.
Thanks for watching Community Closeup. We leave you in Blaine, where some young gunslingers from Coon Rapids are shooting for success and to have fun along the way. I'm Joe Nelson. We'll see you next time.
I think this is more fun than baseball. Baseball, you get to run around and you get to talk with your friends, but I like this sport more because, I like shooting guns and seeing a clay go boom.
A group of Coon Rapids High School students gather each week and compete, not in a race or with a ball, but with bullets and rifles. They took different paths to the Metro Gun Club in Blaine, but they've all found a home on the range.
My dad used to shoot when he was younger, and so he just kind of carried on the tradition, and his dad shot before him, so I just started with him.
I used to shoot when I was littler with my grandpa and stuff.
I've grown up around guns and stuff, and I go hunting, so it wasn't a super big deal, but it was a lot faster because the birds are flying and you don't really know where they're coming out, but it was cool. I really liked it.
I got involved in trap shooting through my brother. He was trap shooting way before me, and my mom wanted me to trap shoot, so I said okay, and now I'm here.
Up to 5 marksmen line up in front of a voice release system that fires out clay pigeons each time they tell it to. Shooters strive for 25 hits, a perfect score.
Pull! My first time trap shooting, I think I got a 17 out of 25. That's pretty good for a first time ever shooting trap.
Well, when I first started, I shot like 12s, and then as I progressed, I've been shooting like 22s and 25s and stuff.
Trap shooting coach Sarah Lindholm says any safety concerns are quickly taken care of when each season begins.
We are the only sport in the state of Minnesota that has not had an injury in the total entirety of the time that it's been running. My dad is our lead safety range officer, and he pretty much scares them straight. I mean, we go over safety. They know what to do in case there's a gun jam. They know that they don't take care of themselves. They raise their hand and have someone else come. It is the safest sport. And you have to have a firearm safety test. These kids all have to have a certification to be able to have a firearm and shoot. We never bring them on school property. Ammunition is never allowed on school property, so my kids never bring them. They pick them up from home and come here, and they're very careful.
I think people should try this sport so they can interact more with guns. For one, they can know how to use them more. They can be outside and kind of in the middle of nowhere, because I mean, you're not just going to trap shoot in the middle of the Capitol.
The Coon Rapids High School trap shooting team competes against other schools weekly during the school year without ever seeing their opponents, tracking scores and sending them online. Shooters instead try to beat each other and their own top scorers.
So they kind of have their own little buddies that they razz back and forth with.
Although it's more of a test of wills than strength or agility, coaches and shooters say finding success takes time.
It is really a hard sport to pick up and get better at. You have to practice to get better, and I've watched these kids come a really long way.
Just don't be stressed out on the field. That's the last thing you want.
It's a mind game, so if you don't think positive and you say you're gonna miss the bird, you're automatically gonna miss the bird.
Patience is key.
But as more and more clay pigeons break into pieces, it's friendship that holds this team together.
We're super like close, even though we're like a bunch of different grades. Like there's some middle schoolers, and it's like boys and girls are together, so it's not like you're competing at like boy sports or girl sports, and we're just like all together, which is cool.
I could do this when I'm like 40 or 50 or 60 and I won't even get tired of it. Because it's just that fun.
You can have your little groups within your team and just kind of hang out with your friends, and it's mainly for fun.
I mean, this is a sport for anybody. I mean, if you're not athletic, it doesn't matter. You come here and pick it up and give it a try.